Before I introduce tonight's honoree, I would also like to extend a heartfelt thank you to all the sponsors and guests this evening for your generous support of the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation. It is really through your support that we're able to continue to make the necessary advances in both the science of CF as well as the care of the patients with CF. And many of these advances have been made right here in Cleveland. I've been associated with the CF Research Center at Case Western Reserve University School of Medicine, as well as the CF Care Center at Rainbow Babies and Children's Hospital in various roles over the almost 40 years. And it's been absolutely amazing to not only witness the progress that we've made over those few decades, but also to have been part of the team, and a real privilege to have that partnership with the CF Foundation. They really did establish a partnership with both Case Western Reserve University as well as UH, and that partnership has spanned more than 50 years. And this partnership has really resulted in some dramatic advances. And really, there's absolutely nothing else like this in healthcare in Cleveland. Our scientists at the School of Medicine are world-renowned for the discoveries that they make in their laboratories, and they work in tandem with our CF doctors at Rainbow to translate their discoveries into therapies that benefit not only the patients that we treat in our area here, but patients worldwide. None of that would be accomplished if it had not been for the support of the CF Foundation. This foundation is really the envy of many other nonprofits for what it has been able to accomplish in really a relatively short time period. To give you some idea of where we've been and where we're going, we have nearly tripled the life expectancy of people with CF over the past 40 years, from the early teens to nearly 40 years of age. Although we've made significant progress, our work is not yet done. The lives of people with CF are still being cut far too short every day, and we still have a lot of work to do. But we are close. So again, I thank you for your support of the mission of the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation, and with your help, you can add tomorrows for all people with cystic fibrosis. It's truly an honor tonight for me to introduce tonight's honoree, Kenn Ricci. Nate. Kenn has been an ardent supporter of the CF effort for the past decade. And as you can see from the brief bio of Kenn in tonight's program, and I really mean it's brief, he has really been flying high as an entrepreneur and a businessman in the field of general aviation. Kenn has combined his love of flying with numerous business ventures in aviation companies, including most recently designing and building new fuel-efficient jets for the corporate world. Among his companies include Flight Options, Senate Jet, Nexton Aerospace, Constant Aviation, and most recently FlexJet. And I'm sure there's a few more that I have omitted. How he finds time to do anything else is beyond me. Kenn has also received numerous awards for his prowess in aviation, including an Ernst & Young Entrepreneur of the Year Award, the Harvard Business School's Dively Entrepreneur Award, and most recently, the prestigious William Ong Award for Extraordinary Achievement and Extended Meritorious Service to the general aviation industry. But Kenn's service to others extends beyond aviation. He sits on several corporate boards, including on the Board of Trustees of university hospitals. So as you can surmise, Kenn has been quite successful in the business world, but he has not kept the fruit of his success to himself. He has chosen to share with a number of charitable causes over the years, including the cause of finding a cure for cystic fibrosis. Kenn became involved with the CF effort after his son Austin was diagnosed with cystic fibrosis at the age of 15 months. This is a picture of Austin, and I've had the privilege of being Austin's CF doctor for nearly his entire life. He's really a joy to take care of, and I'm happy to report that he has normal lung function, he's gaining and growing appropriate for his age, and appears and acts no different than a typical 12-year-old boy. But to accomplish this, you're going to hear a bit about this from himself. He has a daily regimen that consists of many pills, breathing treatments, chest therapy, and he's seen every 2 months by our CF team at Rainbow to monitor his progress and to intervene when necessary. Austin is emblematic of a child with CF today, one that is very different from a CF child of his age just a few decades ago. I have no doubt that he'll continue to do well as more advances in the science of CF and the clinical care of CF are made. If I can have the next slide. This is a photo of Ken with his wife Pamela and their children. Of course, Austin is in the middle. Elizabeth is on your left. And Kennedy on your right. Really good-looking family, I'm sure you all would agree. And they're all here tonight. Given that philanthropy and service to others are core values of Ken's, Kenn and Pamela have instilled into these same values into their children. Here's a few examples. At the end of each year, each of the children get to choose a specific cause to donate to from the family's foundation. And our CF mission has benefited tremendously from these gifts, most recently from Elizabeth. But there are many other gifts that Kenn and his family have donated to further the cause of CF. Last year, as Kennedy was finishing up his senior year at Gilmore Academy, he organized a fundraiser at his school to benefit Rainbow Babies and Children's Hospital. And although Kennedy is now at Notre Dame, it's his father's alma mater, he has already planned for a second event while he'll be home on his summer break. Not pictured here is Ken's mother, Mary Ricci, who is also here tonight. For years, Mary and her friends have been hosting a golf outing to benefit CF in memory of her husband and Ken's father. So we thank you, Mary, for that. So as you can tell, this entire family is passionate about promoting and actively supporting the CF effort. Nate? One of these efforts that I'm particularly proud of and is cherished by me is Ken's gift of an endowed chair to Rainbow Babies and Children's Hospital, the Austin Ricci Chair for Pediatric Pulmonary Care and Research. I'm truly honored to be the inaugural holder of the Ricci Chair, the proceeds of which are used to help us in our quest for a cure for CF and other lung diseases that affect children. And you probably appreciate from this photo who it is that will keep us on that task. That's you, Austin. So Kenn, on behalf of the CF Foundation, our research and clinical staff at the CF Center at both Case Western Reserve University School of Medicine and at University Hospital's Rainbow Babies and Children's Hospital, and especially the CF patients and families that we serve, we can't thank you and your family enough for all that you do for all of us. So thank you. Please join us. And this is from the chefs and others here tonight. So a picture that you can hang up. Thank you.
Sometimes I think they got the roles wrong because I think Michael is the true honoree. He's certainly much more dedicated to this cure than I'll ever be. And some of you might know that I'm a Notre Dame football fan, and we have on occasion gone to Notre Dame football games. We leave on, well, actually we go more than on occasion, like we go to all of them. And we leave on a Saturday morning. We leave around 11:30 in the morning. We fly into Notre Dame. We have a tailgate. We watch the game. We leave right after the game around 7:30, 8 o'clock. That's not true either. We have another tailgate. And then we leave. And we get home around 9 o'clock, and I had the occasion to be able to have Dr. Constant join us one time. And so he showed up at 11 o'clock in the morning, and he came from work. And when we landed that night after the game, he was going back to work. And then he called this week. He wanted to talk to me about the event, and I couldn't take the call. He said, call me back tonight around 10 o'clock at work. All right, so we're so blessed to have you involved. Thank you, Doctor. I'd like to thank my son Kennedy for that wonderful invocation. And since Kennedy won't do it, I will. The event is July 12th. It's called the Rainbow Run. And we're very proud of him promoting these events, and he has a company that does fundraising, so all I'll tell you is be careful if you give him your business card. This is really not it's not a good event for me to be honored at, because I don't normally eat before I talk, and so this has been hell. I've had to sit here and watch 4 wonderful courses come through, and I'm looking forward to the leftovers. But I want to thank the staff and the chefs and everybody who put this together. This is a special event because they donate their time, and so it's a very good event for the foundation. So thank you very much. My father gave me a tip one time. He told me if you're ever honored or receive an award, the one thing you want to make sure that you do is you thank the women in your life. And he said, now make sure you thank them equally, and you are certain to make sure that not any one woman is more important than the other. So here I am to thank the women in my life in alphabetical chronological order by their astrological sign. So, first of all, Mom, what can you say? Mothers and sons can do no wrong, except when they do. And then we're quickly put back on track. But thank you, Mom. Thanks for all your support. I love you. And by the way, I say this all the time, I really knew how to pick a mom. To my daughter, Elizabeth, thank you for trusting in me. Thank you for what you do for our family. We're so blessed to have you. And I also will say, I know how to pick a daughter. And to my wife, Pamela, who I met 12,318 days ago. Thank you for your enthusiasm, for your zest for life. It's a pleasure to get up every morning around you. Thank you for your endless love. Now, when they ask you to be an honoree, it's kind of an honor. And what you may or may not know about me, Michael hinted to it a little bit, I am an achiever by background with a little bit of side of competitiveness. And so when I was told I was going to be an honoree, my first instinct was, well, I wonder if I'm the first honoree on my street. Maybe the first honoree from my grade school class. So one night, when everyone was asleep, and I put my in-private browsing session on, I Googled charitable honorees, thinking I would find a wiki page, right, that would have the list of all the honorees. It would tell you which causes they supported, right, and it would tell you how they ranked. And I think you know the answer. There is no wiki page. Because it's really not about the honoree, right? Being an honoree is just simply a reminder to us of our obligation to help others. And so I also reminded you of your obligation to help others, and I'm so blessed to have all of your support. Thank you very much. And in that sense, we're all joint honorees. So thank you for being co-honorees with me. I appreciate it. Now, I have been on a charitable committee where we had to find an honoree. And we had the right guy picked out. The cause was, had touched his family. It had touched his son. But the guy was kind of a rough guy. So they looked around the committee and they figured I was the one to handle it. So I called him up and I explained that we wanted him to be the honoree. And he immediately said to me, how many honorees are you going to have? He said, you can't have too many honorees. I said, okay. He said, and if you have 3 honorees, let me tell you something. He said, I'm not speaking last. The guy that speaks last is always boring and just keeping people from getting to the bar. And then he said, are there any kids speaking? Because if there's kids speaking, I don't want to be anywhere near that guy on the stage. And I sure don't want to talk after the kid. Which brings me to our featured speaker. Now, people say figuratively, I've known him my whole life. I can tell you literally, I've known him my whole life, his whole life. I know this because I cut his umbilical cord. He loves to travel. He's even traveled on an airline. He likes to play basketball. And he's already achieved something that I still aspire to do. He's thrown out the first pitch at a Cleveland Indians game. A few of the things that we know about Austin. Austin he gets very focused and he gets determined about something that he wants to achieve. And then he can get relentless in his pursuit of that achievement. And I have to tell you, at 3 years old, we did not enjoy this trait. But we think this trait will serve him very well the rest of his life. And he gets very determined and very specific about what it is he wants and how to get there. For instance, he likes milk, but not 2% milk, and not 1% milk, and not skim milk. It has to be whole milk. He likes mac and cheese. Not truffle mac and cheese, it has to be Kraft mac and cheese. He likes movies. They have to be Disney movies, except that Mary Poppins one, but she still doesn't get why we even like that movie. So, when we approached Austin and asked him if he would come tonight, and whether he would speak at the event, his first comment was, are they going to have fries? He said, and not those sweet potato fries. It has to be the regular fries. He said, are they going to have cake? He says, and it has to be vanilla cake, not the chocolate cake or the marble cake. He said, I want the vanilla cake. So I'm happy to say that I'd like to introduce our feature speaker, complete with regular fries and vanilla cake, Austin Ricci.
When my family asked me if I would like to talk about cystic fibrosis tonight, I asked my dad what I should talk about. He said the first thing I should do was thank you all for supporting cystic fibrosis, for coming tonight to support this event. I should also thank Dr. Constant and all the people that work with him. Oh, and then he told me to put down my notes and to put my notes down and not really just say it. Thank you, Dr. Constant. Aww. He said I could say a few things about how Dr. Constant and his team have made so much progress that we are now even able to cure some types of cystic fibrosis. Then he explained that I was supposed to say something about cystic fibrosis that would make you proud of supporting this event, and I want to give more money. And I said, okay. He said that he had been to other cystic fibrosis events, and sometimes the guest CF speaker talks about some of the challenges with CF. I said, okay. He said sometimes the CF speaker isn't even at the event because they may be in the hospital and they just make a videotape that everyone listens to. I said, okay. He said I could talk about the time it takes me to do my vest and mask every day and night, and how I always have to carry special medicine for all my meals, even though it never affects me at school. He said I could talk about how skiing, hiking, and swimming are very good for my lungs. I said, okay. He said I should say that I enjoy skiing in Vail, which I do, on Black Diamonds. I can tell you that Beaver Ridge can be very, very difficult. I like to hike Camelback Mountain in Phoenix with my family and Elizabeth's dog, Bria. Dad said I should say that I enjoy golfing and swimming, especially in Cabo. And I said, okay. Now this is the point when my dad said to tell everyone that when I say okay, that doesn't mean yes. Like when my dad tells me to go to bed and I say okay. So he told Dad that I also wanted to talk about football. He said okay. Dad doesn't always mean yes when he says okay either. I said that I wanted to say that curing cystic fibrosis is like a football game. Dr. Constant is the coach, and the ball got kicked off many years ago, and the team was forced to start on the 1-yard line. First, we ran a lot of running plays. Sometimes they gained a few, and sometimes they didn't. We protected the ball, and sometimes when we got tackled, it hurt. But after a few plays, we started to focus on getting a touchdown. Then we tried a couple of short passes, and then we had a couple of first downs. We got more confident in our goal. Eventually, all the fans started to cheer for us, and the players didn't even hurt when they got tackled. And now we have come almost all the way down the field, and we just have a few more yards to go. And Dad said, okay. But how is that going to give them money, he asked. I said, well, just tell them it's like a football game. You don't know. You don't leave your seats just as we're about to score a touchdown. Oh, and my dad told me to thank all the women in my life. I said, okay. But I really can't because there are too many of them. Unless you want to be here all night telling you about all of them. If you would, then just raise your hand. So I will just say thank you to all for coming tonight and supporting this event. Oh, and don't forget to try the vanilla cake.
Do I really have to follow up after that? Wow. That might be the 2 single greatest speeches I've ever heard at any charity event. By the way, there's a new app coming, When I Met My Wife. We're making a lot of money on that one. That was, wow.